Eccoci qua. Let's go. Let's go, guys. Buonasera, buonasera. Yes, I'm alone for now. The guys are coming. The Russian are coming. Mike and March are coming. So I just started. So we can warm up, chill a second together because, wow, Michele just sent me 4-minute message. Let's maybe something rugby related. I'm sure it's rugby related. Nice. Marcello is coming soon. Phantom, how are you? Samuele, how are you? Come state? Come state? Today, what we're gonna talk about? URC Challenge Cup, maybe quick one about the new names of Quesada. I think it's gonna be a classic, nice classic. Your thoughts, Phantom? Your 2 cents on the Cheetahs game and the Ospreys game? That's interesting because I didn't hear from you these days. So, what are we guys expecting from the first round of Challenge Cup? Good stuff. But now we're gonna wait a few minutes more the guys to come and che vi posso dire ragazzi? Ve lo dico in italiano, ve lo dico. Settimana prossima, next week, we're gonna have the surprise. Some of us already know, but we're gonna have a new guest from France. Washing dishes. Dopo. It's not time to wash dishes. No, it's perfect. Actually, I listen a lot of podcasts just waiting when I have to wash dishes and do stuff. So, yeah, what I listen today. Today, Tintoria. Why late? Mamma mia. I didn't see this, Phantom. Yes, late. A little bit late, but it's okay. So we came from a good week of rugby for the Italians. Phantom, you wanna come in? I can send you the link. Please come and tell me how the things are. Give me your thoughts about the game. It was hard. The Stormer game wasn't too bad. Let's go, Phantom. Facciamoci una chiacchierata. Aspetta che ti cerco. Eccolo qua, let's go. Vai, che t'aspetto. So we're gonna chat a little bit with Phantom about Zebra and Benetton within the guys. And also, guys, I want to show you a couple of stuff that because we have the wrap from Spotify too. Emanuele Forza Lazio, giusto. So let me see our wrap so I can show you the wrap. So of course I screenshotted this and let me just put, of course, our main, and here is one of the examples. I just screenshot it. So Italy, United Kingdom, Ireland, France, and United States, the most new listeners. So thank you, grazie guys from Italy, United Kingdom, Ireland, France, and United States. Phantom, where are you? That one, and then also I know there is more interesting stats. It's direct link. It's where is a good rating, guys. 4.8 for us. It's a good start. Think about we start really in May, I think. I'm just looking through the. Oh, here we go. Here you go. Buonasera, Phantom from space.
Buonasera, good evening from Coruscant here. And in the honor of 2 cents rugby gets distracted, we are with non-alcoholic beer. There we go.
Great, that's great. No, I had a coffee, a Nescafe actually, just before starting the stream. So, how you doing, my man, Phantom?
Not too bad, not too bad. So there's a bit of a delay. I mean, I can see you in real time, but mine's a bit delayed, so I don't know what it looks like. Does it look slow or normal?
Look,
The screen.
the screen goes a little bit slow, but you know what? It's okay because we're gonna put it on the podcast on Spotify, so nobody has to see your face. Don't worry. We here on YouTube they can rewatch it, but no
Okay, that's all
problem.
right. That's the problem. So where are all the usual chaps?
They're coming. Here we go. We have Marcello. Marcello, how
Ciao,
are
Ottavio.
you? Hey,
I'm good. How are
hey.
you?
Good. I let Phantom in, one of our most passionate fans from UK, actually. The
I'm
Italian
in
from
the UK.
UK. And
Yeah,
look
nearly
Hello.
what we
Italian.
have here.
Nearly Italian.
Oh, here we go. We're back up. We're
Hey,
all in.
boys. Yeah,
Man,
sorry I'm
Hello.
late.
no, it's okay. Look what
How
we have
could
with
you? How could
Phantom
you?
today.
Phantom, good to have you,
How you
mate. How you
doing?
been? You well?
Not so bad. Keeping up appearances, as they say.
That's it. Good work, mate. Good work. I don't know if what to mention. I just got back in. I had a little one in the back of the car, and she decided it was optimum condition to have a little accident, so straight into the bath. But good to be live, boys. Good to be live. Good to have everyone on.
I'd love to
Yeah,
say I know your I know your pain, Mike, but I actually had the exact same incident with my dog. So there we go.
so who's
Yeah.
next? The next it's me, so
So,
it
oh,
looks like
perfect.
it's
Yeah, it
like
comes
that.
in threes as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always
Non
does.
c'è due senza tre.
That's it.
Look,
That's a
I have
famous
stories
Italian
like
saying.
yeah, but I have stories like the one you both have. It happens with my daughter and with my dog about throwing up
Oh,
just
nice.
before arriving home, or maybe just at the door going out after eating some grass. So it happens,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. It's
We're
not
all here.
rotten.com.
We're here now. We're here now. We're all good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Phantom, you just mentioned them and they arrived in the just
Yeah.
like with a snap of fingers. They arrived when you said, "Where are the chaps?"
Speak of the
Boom,
Well,
devil, right?
they show up.
there we go. There we go.
So,
Anyways,
Phantom, we
go
were just
on.
starting. Give me your thoughts about the game. We chat on WhatsApp actually in general, so we have
Yeah.
always our private chat. But tell me about Benetton and
So,
what they're gonna.
well, Bennett, Treviso first, maybe. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I think it's interesting. I think they are they're better than they are showing, but they're clunky in attack. And of course, the question always is, uh, unfortunately, is why is the problem there? And is it because we changed from Mazi, who was a centre three quarters, which had a lot of flair? You have Troncon, who's and in fact, there is an interview with Leone Fuori where they have a chat to him and they actually ask the question to him saying, well, how will the attack develop? And he's kind of that evasive. He says, oh, no, we have to think about every situation. And some people like flair, but other people care about winning. And you get the impression, just like he was when he was Mallet's three quarters coach, that he is more interested in winning ugly and winning a game rather than playing with flair, which I think is dangerous. Yeah, me and Otto did chat about it. I think it is dangerous, and I think it's very, very clunky now because they seem to be wanting to pay by numbers, learn every single possible permutation, and then react to whatever happens on the day, rather than uh, playing heads up rugby with instinct. And I think you could see that because Mazi played instinctually. That was what kind of player he was, as opposed to Troncon was always kind of he was well, he was aggressive, but he definitely always used to look around. He was much more cerebral about it, and it's okay if your brain works really quick, but if it doesn't, you become clunky, and you can actually see them actually thinking, going, well, we're told to think, so what should we do here in this situation? And you can see that they're processing and they're that little bit slow, because I don't think they're releasing it. Now, you may think I'm talking rubbish, so please challenge me on this if you think that's the case. But to me, that's what they look like. They look like they're always trying to think, what are we supposed to do in this situation? Rather than last year just being instinctual. And also, we got to understand that, I mean, Odogwu had a great game in defense, but he had 3 or 4 chances that the ball was dropped before it got to him. So that there is a lot of that going on, and I thought
everything it can get better.
I think you're
We
spot
hope.
on there. I
Right,
think you're
Mike,
spot on, by the way.
on Marcello.
Why are you so surprised? I mean, look, people look at my face, think drop dead gorgeous must be stupid, but no.
Brains and beauty. Brains and beauty.
Look, we can add a lot of stuff about that. Think about the thread from shout out to Sam Larner. He posted one about the
Leicesterization.
Okay, Leicesterification for me.
Yeah, that's it.
One of the other one, but more
Sure.
makes sense. No? Leisterizzazione of Benetton. I add to that the fact that we are seeing Benetton playing with Fekitoa as a center is less distributor than Brex. That make a lot of change, because when you play with Reno Smith, he wants the ball wide. He wants to run into space. He wants to be in the last 15 meters coming from behind, but it's less than it's not a distributor. Something that Brex can give you to create that overlap, like Italy last year, let's say, with Crowley, something that was pretty similar, just different shapes in the field.
But as I said to you, I think Brex is God sake,
it's lower.
I love him. He's slow. And on another point, since you're talking about Leicester, look, it's a really bad idea, because when you cross a line with a tiger, you get a sterile Tigon, and it's a really bad idea. But I'll stop on the puns on that. But I'm the oldest person here, so I can make silly dad jokes. It's fine.
You're fine. I agree with a lot of what you said there, by the way. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's clunky.
Me too.
I do think there's elements to both this week and last week where it's just a bit of naivety in attack as well. Like a couple of missed passes which didn't need to go. They could have gone to hand, and we just need to. There's just a bit of inaccuracy, and I feel like
that's accuracy, right?
Yeah, I just feel like Benetton are maybe still trying to work out what their best team looks like, right? With all the new people in and all the different changes with Fekitoa and stuff. So there's not really been a true consistency in selection, and nor should there be, because obviously it's a monster roster, and that's what all the other teams do. But I think at least in the short term, one or two of those balls, don't skim past and go into touch, or like don't get dropped because we're doing something too much.
I agree with you, but you could also say that, look, the stuff that was already there, like the scrum, is going well, and they've got a bigger roster, and it's still working. I think, to be honest with you, I think obviously Andy Uren. I actually said this to somebody else, to English fans. I think the best 2 halfbacks that England could pick now are Uren and Umaga. And actually, because Umaga is like a Farrell, but a lot less strong, and Uren was such a surprise to me that he was actually that dynamic, clever. His box kicking is very precise. He knows exactly where he's going. So surprised that he's like not even in the radar.
Isn't he?
Yeah, considering England don't have, and of course they have these issues of that. But I also said, and I'm going to be very critical, that I am not happy with Dare. I think he's, we had this discussion about with Otto about the fact that he's supposed to be this highly skilled player. But I think the big problem that I think people don't take into account is that skill set is not the single most important thing you have to do. If you look at any people who coach young kids, what they look at is not their skill set. They actually look at their mental state under pressure, because actually at the highest level, I mean, I've seen young footballers who look amazing but then can't make it to the smallest team because under pressure they can't make the decisions. Mirko Bergamasco had no natural talent, but he was so strong and so strong mentally under pressure that he could deliver. He could literally deliver under pressure at his lowest capability. I mean, John Kerwin said that he had to teach him how to pass the ball, all that kind of stuff.
We saw that, didn't we?
Yeah, but under pressure, he didn't flap. I mean, he was literally rock solid. He was a monster under pressure, and that's what makes it. So you look at Dare, and clearly he's got skill sets, but like he dropped the ball in a situation was an easy 2-on-1. The last try he scored, it was great, but it was a 2-on-1. You catch, you draw, you pass, and that's an easy try. Because if he gets caught or slips, that's not the try doesn't happen. But if you think he's got man on the outside, he should catch the ball, draw it, pass. And you can see where he's and that's my criticism. Sorry, maybe
No, it's fine. It's fine. One thing I'll say about Dare is I think he has something that we don't have, and that's bravery. He takes it to the line. He doesn't mind getting a whack. And like you said, the other stuff, people sort of forget he's 23 years old. You know what I mean? Like, what was I doing when I was 23? I was playing rugby, not that standard. But it was. My
as long as you weren't in prison, then that was all right.
That's it. That's it. That's a high pressure environment, in fairness. But in terms of what he's what he's doing, I think, like you said, skill set's great. Just like I said, naivety and indecision. That he sort of fits what I was trying to imply as well. There's a lot of naivety there, especially with some of the passes. But it's not just him. I think. A lot of it will come in time. But he, like I said, when we spoke, I think it was Toa, wasn't it? Otto and March, where Toa was like, he does stuff.
Toa, other guys too. They were saying, man, the guy's good.
Yeah.
Jack King.
Yeah, he was like, he does. The exact words I think Toa said was, he does stuff that I don't think he does stuff that our halfbacks can't do. Is what he said.
Yes, but doing it in a training field is a lot easier than doing under pressure.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
And it's the same as if you. I don't know. I can cook very well, right? I can make food that somebody in a restaurant might sell for 20 quid, but doing 200 covers on your own, not a chance. Not a chance. That's two different things, and so the difference between doing something in a controlled environment and doing something in a pressure environment, under pressure, is totally different. And that's why, for me, Bergamasco was brilliant, because he wasn't particularly skillful, but he was just so cool, and he got aggressive under pressure, and that's what counts, I think.
Yeah.
The good things is that he's at his third cup this season. He played 2 weeks ago, starting at 15, and now he get into the bench twice. So think about also the upcoming games for Benetton. That can be a good. Couple of good games where in Challenge Cup he can play, and maybe we're gonna see other players that we miss recent time, like Minozzi and Pasquale Alongi, Marin guys. So
we're gonna have a problem at tight.
How you
see
this?
International level.
That is gonna be long term. Then at the end, I'm gonna show you all the call-up from Quesada under 23 and who's out, so we can see a little bit about the Italy. March, what do you think about the Benetton upcoming games, situation of Benetton?
I was just going to say that'll be the interesting thing. It's how they'll go about the Challenge Cup. How seriously not how seriously will they take it, but how much rotation will they do? Because you'd expect teams, especially in the Challenge Cup, to rotate and give some guys some minutes. Benetton have, on the whole, done a lot of that in the first few games of the season anyway in the league. So I'd expect that to probably keep going, and maybe a few more changes this week. So it's Ospreys, and then is it Perpignan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I expect them to potentially prioritise Perpignan potentially. So I'd expect them to maybe make a few more changes this week and then go a little bit stronger next week. But that'll be the interesting thing for both the franchises, really. What are they going to do in the next couple of weeks in terms of rotation, because I think we've all discussed that if Benetton were to really choose they wanted to go for this competition, there's no reason why they couldn't go all the way and go really deep, even potentially even semi-finals type thing. So that's the interesting bit for me.
I don't think we ought to underestimate the investment that the Benetton family have actually put in now into Treviso. I think, in fairness to Bortolami and maybe Pavanello, they said if we're going to be the premier club in Italy, we need to be the Leinster of Italy, and that means money in deep pockets to make sure that we have a huge roster in a way that a lot of other clubs and we forget that they do have a sugar daddy in a company, Benetton, that actually makes quite a lot worldwide in terms of clothing. So they've got that ability to not necessarily spend a lot of money on individual players, but spend a lot of money on lots of players. And my feeling is that they will hit the full team to smash enough games to qualify and do the rotation on games that they can afford to lose, because they've made the points on certain games, because we know how many games they really need to win to get past the
playoff,
to get to the next round of the Challenge Cup. So they can say, okay, we need to win X number of games, we'll smash those, and then the rest we can rotate, but make sure they hit their targets. But tell me if I'm talking rubbish. But
no, I agree with you. I also hope that that's not the case, though. And I'll tell you why. I think we have had an issue in Italy forever, which especially when it comes to the URC and the Celtic League and the Pro 14 or whatever you want to call it, like the iterations where we always play our strongest team because we lacked depth and we lacked maybe the stones to rotate the team, which means that actually we saw a lot of injuries, and we saw a lot of injuries in key areas to a lot of players. So I'm hoping that, part of the logic behind having an extended roster is to have the confidence that everyone will get game time, everyone will play, because actually in the long run, those people are gaining a bit of game time, they're getting minutes in their legs, they get a bit of confidence, like you said, with some of the inexperienced players. And then actually there'll be a point where we're having really, really tough discussions in terms of who we think are first team players, right? And that's the end goal. You look at, we're talking about Leinster, you look at Leinster, you can argue probably 2-3 players deep who you'd consider as maybe some of the best things, because each player might have like a certain attribute or a certain play style that aligns to what you perceive as best. So that's where we want to be, I think. So I'm hoping it's more like let's make sure that we're protecting the players, and
I agree, but I think another thing they've done very cleverly, I remember making this comment to some Irish friends of mine about saying, actually, there are no first team players at Treviso in general. If you look at them, anybody could swap out and you wouldn't say, oh, that's insane. I mean, even to the point of the captain, Lamau, you could say, well, actually, Zuliani is as good. Anybody in the wing, etc. And in fact, the response was, well, a team that hasn't got the best team is it's not a good idea. But in fact, I think this was Milan's 1990s idea to have a full rotational team that could could do that. I think, Otto, you remember Berlusconi's Milan? That was his idea, was to create an American football franchise. And in fact, I think maybe Treviso have actually done it on the sly and very quietly behind the scenes. If you look at every single player, how many of those players can you actually genuinely say, well, that person's immovable, he's the best in that position?
That's a lot to say, because there are a lot of things in common, if you think, and the difference is that this year all the young guys are stepping forward. I'm saying, I'm here, I want to play. Isegor is doing that. Spagnolo, guys.
Yeah, mate, how good is he?
Man,
like we got. I feel like we just have to stop every time we say his name. Like who
was the unsung hero of the week?
Mate, I think it's pretty easy, this one, isn't it? I think it was March who said, like, it was and someone in the Discord, I think it was you, March, but someone said, like, has there been an easier transition? Like, considering the step up that he's had to do, has there ever
Yeah, it
been like
was-
someone who's just walked into the position and like, okay, this is what we do now?
On the Italian side, I would say there was one player that was really. Otto's going to shoot me, but I thought David Odiase was really undervalued by a lot of players.
He's
I
quite
used to,
I hope to see him playing against Zebre actually, because
Yeah.
guys, Oyonnax needs to play his best
Gonna
team
say, yeah.
in top 14, right, March? So and usually the French team, they do a lot of rotation because they
They
think
normally sack this competition off. To be honest, the Challenge
Right.
Cup. They
Do you
tend to
remember
just
Stade Francais last year was the
yeah.
same?
They
against
just throw it. They don't take it too seriously. I think they even the teams in the Champions Cup, the French side sometimes rotate heavily, and they just don't seem. Some of them don't seem as interested. It's like if they lose one game or two games, they just throw the rest of the group, and that will give opportunities. Oh, yes, for sure.
do you know what? As you said that, do you know? I'm wondering whether having that attitude is actually not such a bad thing, because what you're actually doing is saying to the other players, "Okay, show me what you got." Right? This is it. You're in there. You've got your chance. Let's see if you can step up to the plate under extreme pressure, where you are now the second side, but you've got to go out there and win. And it's a way of baptism of fire with people, and then saying, "Well, okay, if we lose it, not at the end of we'll accept it. It's lost leader." In other words, we test these these players under those conditions, and we don't worry about if we get knocked out, but it's our testing ground. I mean, is that a bad idea?
No, I'm gonna give you one reason why it's different between maybe the French team and URC team, because it's a tournament, it's a closed tournament, the URC, and the top 14, you go in Pro D2. If you're not playing properly in during the normal season, the regular season.
Yeah.
So that's maybe also why they have to decide. Maybe sometimes you can bet differently for like last year Benetton was okay. We're going really strong, of course, for the Challenge Cup to move on, but also there was that trick. Is it better to qualify for playoff, or is it better to go one round more in Challenge Cup forward? So it's a tricky balance there to understand how to get it.
But then
But
you've got
the
to look at the league as well, because I mean, for example, Perpignan and pretty much been battered other than 2 games, and Montpellier as well. Both those teams right at the bottom, and they're the sorts of sides. Those are the sorts of sides that will look at this competition and think, well, Montpellier Champions Cup, but they will look at these European competitions and think, they're potentially in a relegation battle, and they can't financially dropping out of the top 14 is just not conceivable. So they, for sure, I'd expect those teams down at the bottom of the French league to really have to say, look, let's give as many of the younger guys as much game time as possible, which should work in their favour.
When can we talk about the like what the hell's going on with the under-23 league that was meant to come 2 years ago? Like when the under-23, like the Academy URC league, right? That everyone, that's what we need. Like obviously the English clubs of the Prem Cup, which obviously is good as well because you're playing against some experienced championship players as well, right? They're not just all youngsters, although the vast majority are. We need something like that.
Well,
like,
there is. I can give you half an answer.
Go on, far away.
That the Irish and the Italian Federation have got together, and they've got a tournament this Christmas.
No, I saw that, but in terms of an actual sort of monetizable league where we send our players abroad, then potentially teams get early access tickets. Punters get early access tickets to a game, and they spend an extra $5 and they watch the under-20s. You can monetize it. You guys can start recouping some costs, and obviously that can go to pitch maintenance, because obviously there'll be two
kind of like the Champions League for soccer, when they bring also the youngest team with them. Or usually they play one day before.
Yeah, they have the UEFA Youth League, don't they?
Yeah,
and that
yeah, something
that
like
gets played in the afternoon.
Yeah, I just think we need to, like, especially with the URC, where a lot of the teams are exiles and they're there, for a reason to represent the country and become, a point of, a point of like making players for the national leagues. It just seems like there's so much more that could be done to monetize that, and it just seems like such a no-brainer. If I was CEO, I'd be like, what are the overheads here? Okay, there's logistical costs, and then there's going to be an increase in maintenance for like pitch and stuff. Other than that, there's really, really low overheads, and it's something that we could stream, as part of the URC package, and we could package it up and say, like, it's just a no-brainer, isn't it?
No, and think about the experience for those guys that they fight against under 23 means playing against good players around the URC. So that's something more.
Unless the URC think there's not enough advertising return on it. I don't know.
I don't know, you could just package it up though. Like it's almost like a bundle, right? For me, the way I see it is, this is the primary product. You know when you're about to buy a new phone subscription, and they're like, this is what you get in, and then like right at the last second where you're going into the basket, it's like, have you seen the international minutes add-on? And it's like at a reduced. That's what this is. Like, it's just the international calls add-on that you see right at the end. But the point is, right, there is money in that, and there's significant money in that. It just seems like, the Bucks League is growing so aggressively here in the UK, and that's now there's more investment in that. It's becoming more marketable. They've got TMOs, they've got this, that, and the other. That's going to overtake the championship shortly. Like, it'll
overtake the Premiership. Like,
well, joking aside, mate, like
yeah, I mean, rugby in England's probably not the best example, to be fair, because it's so utterly and totally fucked.
Okay, so the S-Balls then. That's the best example we have, right? The S-Balls in France. Like that's
what we want, really.
Yeah,
we want to replicate that. That's the aim.
Yeah.
I did before we came on. I wanted to talk about the two Challenge Cup kits that the franchises have, and Zebra released theirs today, a mixture of flamingos and zebras.
Can you pull that up?
I love that shirt.
The Stade Zebres.
Yeah, and Benetton have also gone all pink as well, which is cool.
Do you know what?
Let me put it on.
It's rather scaringly that somebody got paid to design that.
I think it's sick.
They deserve a raise, Phantom. Like,
I want it.
Man, Phantom, you are all style on the jerseys, I think. I like it too, the classic usually. But this is like, that's so weird that maybe it's nice.
The Gloucester man.
It's like Stade. Was it Stade Francais that put all of the former French presidents on their kit a few years ago?
French president, Mona Lisa, drinks, the fans, natural fans they put on.
Zebra's kit is very Stade Francais.
It's out there, isn't it? Yeah,
it is. It's cool. It is cool.
Man,
I can see you. I can see you boys are waiting for the zebra calendar, right?
Oh,
I'm still waiting to find a way of buying the home shirt, because I want that shirt, but it's not on sale anywhere. I can't buy it. Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's one thing. Maybe we'll have a chat with our friends at Zebra and see if we.
It is. It's like you can't actually buy the shirt. Like, imagine in football not being able to buy a shirt.
Who makes it?
Canterbury.
Have you gone on the Canterbury website then?
Yeah, it's not on it.
No, it's not out. There is only the Ireland jerseys. There's nothing else for now. Phantom, you are Mr. Hot Take. Simone is saying here.
Mr.
Yes. Take. So let me just let me put this. Okay, I found it. So let's see the flamingos. How many flamingos? This is the trivia game. How many flamingos are on the jersey?
I'm gonna say 7, just for the sake of saying 7.
Just nice. To say.
They're quite big. I thought there wasn't that many, because they were quite
huge, guys.
I think it's 3.
Okay. So on this front side, only one flamingo.
Take my money. Take it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Only one flamingo on this with Fetuli Paea. We hope to see him playing a little bit more because he had got his injury with the number 1. 2 flamingos, guys, no more than 2.
Mate, it's a flary shirt, isn't it? Is it
Oh, I
like
love it, man.
it's like a
Well-
7 shirt?
This is
Ready?
XX rated. Parental advisors. These 2. No, let's see the front. Come on. So this year they go like Zebre went for the Stade Francais style. Last year Benetton went for Leinster style, the blue with the gold.
Yeah.
So
You-
I
can
like
you
the
imagine Trulla wearing that? No, I'm
Yeah,
waiting for.
Do you know that the irony of it is you make more and more different types of shirts to sell the shirts, except for the bit that the Zebra have forgotten is that they have to have them on sale. You know,
Yeah.
if you keep changing them. That's the bit they've missed.
Oh God, why can't we sell our shirts? Oh, numbers are so bad. Have you tried
That's
putting
like-
them out there?
Well,
In all seriousness, it is
Bizarre.
kind of bonkers that you can't buy merch. Like, why? It's like a Premier League team. You can't buy the home shirt. It just doesn't exist. Like, I don't
Well,
read
Too
that.
much. For
being a
streaming.
German fan,
Ah,
for
screech.
ages I wanted to buy a German shirt, and it was really difficult. I even went to see Germany qualify against Holland for one of the World Cups when it was to the UK, I think, and I flew over to Amsterdam to see a game. And I even asked Armstrong
see
for
the
a shirt
game.
at the end of the game. Can I? They won. They smashed them. But I asked for a shirt, and he says, "No, we've got to give them back." And it depends
course,
on really.
To give them back.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, because I mean, the
Professional
German Federation was completely was practically bankrupt and was being originally paid for by the German army.
Oh,
And
right, wow.
so they had to.
Okay,
Yeah.
big stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
no,
we
guys,
need to speak to someone at Zebra and ask the
Yeah.
question why.
We'll have a chat. We'll have a chat. We'll distribute them. Don't worry. I'll just send a load to my house. I'll make sure they get into the right people's
Well,
hands.
Sure.
I like the hoodies of Zebre Parma. Those are nice from
The
in my
vests
opinion.
for me. The vests.
I just want to be able to buy some merch, man. I just want to buy some kit.
For Christmas.
If they do a third shirt vest, so I'll just have it blessed. That's what I want.
And they can put Fratelli di Rugby across the front.
They might have to,
perfect.
mate. If not,
Podcast
we'll just
sponsor.
buy it. We'll put it ourselves.
We're gonna just print one.
Yeah.
Like the Internazionale Milan with Chinese names on the
Inta
back.
merda.
Oh no. Oh
Okay,
no. Bias.
just to close with Benetton, I think for everyone wants to see them scoring 4 tries the next week. That's the minimum.
That's the issue, Otto, isn't it? That's the issue. We've been saying it from the start of the season, though. Like, it's, if Benetton want to win the league,
It becomes a big thing, though, doesn't it? Because bonus points make the difference. And
Mate, like,
arguably, Benetton should be top of the league potentially, but because they've got no bonus points, they find themselves down like 6th, 5th, 6th.
That's the point. But okay, predictions against Ospreys, maybe second strip. Second
I think Benetton's second string. I mean, Ospreys pretty much played their second string in the league game at the weekend, so
that's correct.
they
do
could.
Ospreys
They
have
could.
a first string anymore?
I don't know. It'd be closer. It'd be closer to the one that played Zebra towards the start of the season. Would be their first string. But I'd expect them not to make too much. I'd expect them to make changes from last week.
I haven't fully listened to the interview that Paolo Doggu gave. I just I scanned on Rugby's article. Although I've got to go to Benetton TV to listen to his interview. But the impression I got is that they're going to try to score tries, and I got the impression that there maybe won't be that many changes to Treviso's side. Also, something that Bortolami said about the game that it was going to be very difficult. So I'm not expecting an awful lot of changes. The only thing I would say is I would hope that, given the way Smith is playing at the back, had a bit of a nightmare game last game, and the fact that I think that is not comfortable, I would try Padovani at fullback, because I think at least he's an
running
old
back.
flight half at fullback, and then maybe bring in one of the other wingers. I think I'd kick him in.
Ratave.
Well, if
We
he's
didn't
fit,
see Ratave in the
yeah, but I don't think
the
he's fit.
full.
I'm not sure if he's fit.
Maybe that's true too.
Mendy
I
plays
think-
fullback, no?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mendy played fullback as well, right?
Yeah, but he's no, he's a
It's
I-
more
I-
a wing.
wing. I'd have the
But there's
Odogwu.
Marcus Watson. It's out. Maybe I don't know if he got injury, but
Yeah.
that is the other guy. Then they have Douglas. But there is Minozzi, guys. Minozzi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
Forgotten man.
Yeah, but I think Minozzi is now in a situation though. If you think about it, right? Personally, and I'm not sure. I'm sure Bortami doesn't think that way, but I think Padovani should be only playing at fullback, or that's it. I think only playing at fullback, and you'd have either Odogwu and Mendy on each wings, but then Minozzi has a problem because he's not strong enough to be on the wing to defend, and he's lost his speed a little bit at fullback. And his bravery because of his eye, he doesn't seem as insane at going for the balls. And you go, well, where'd you put him? I mean, it's really difficult to know where do you feel confident that you're going to put him and you're going to get the performance that's going to guarantee your winning.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me. I mean,
Well,
I could be wrong.
To be honest with you, I've sort of resigned myself to the fact that the 2018-2019 Minotti is in the similar sort of batch to the 2018-2019 Campagnaro for me. Like he's a good player. Hopefully he finds that magic in his boots again. But ultimately, we have so much depth now, like internationally, that he's going to struggle. And now I think Benetton and Zibre, there's going to be more of a concerted effort to ensure that the players that are going to be playing ahead of the Six Nations are probably going to be Italian. There's probably going to be more emphasis. Certainly, obviously, with the Italian derby, it's obvious. But I think we'll probably see, like you said, I think we'll probably see Smith there. But I personally would like to see just youngsters play. This like against the Ospreys. To be honest, that's me. I'm hoping, like Otto said, they take a little bit more sort of a stance in the URC as opposed to in Europe. And just try and like give the youngsters good opportunities to play against really good quality teams, and they're good enough to win. The thing is, like players like Drago have grown so much over the past season, and like obviously we've got some fantastic players coming through. Like we just need to give them time. We just need to find a way of giving them some time.
Well,
So next week, Dare is starting.
He is, yeah.
Do you think?
I think so. Dare is gonna start again. Maybe it's gonna be
Cool.
next week.
I'm happy with that. He's like you said. If the players are saying he has something, we need him to get more game time, especially if we're resigning ourselves now that Benetton might not necessarily be taking the Champions Cup as serious as they as we might want them to. Like good, give them game time, get them to play.
Yeah, Screep. I'm just not sure about Minozzi. I agree with you on Drago because actually now that Zanon has proven that he's back in the business, give him a rest because Drago, are interchangeable. Drago and Zanon are a copy of each other, and you can just share the load a little bit. And
When's Tommy back? Do you know? He's soon,
Tommy who?
right?
Who's that?
Menoncello.
I thought they said just before the Six Nations start.
He wants
is
to
that what they
push
said?
hard, but
Okay,
you
never
see.
mind.
Oh,
For
that
some
is
reason, I saw December, and I just sorry to interrupt, Phantom. Go ahead.
No, I think at 12, I think they're in a good position where they've literally got interchangeable 12s that you don't need to change your game plan for because they're basically the same, but they you can just interchange them, rest one, rest the other, and if you get that lovely rotation, I think that's really good. To your point of Menoncello, people are obsessing about him being a 12, but it's only because he was put at 12 by Crowley. He was always a 13, and I think he will go back to being 13. I think that's what Bortolami said he wanted to play, and actually I can see a Drago or Zanon Menoncello as a lethal combination in the centres. I think Brex, is on the way out, because if Riera comes back, I think Riera is far more dynamic than Brex. I think Treviso have proven that they don't need Brex to marshal the defense. The defense is working. So at what point, what does Brex give you that others can't? And that's starting to become more and more difficult, which is great for Treviso, right? Because it means they're not dependent on him. And that's not meaning to be nasty to him. And I guess he'll find game time, and maybe the Challenge Cup, he will play this Challenge Cup. Maybe he'll play against the Ospreys. But yeah, I agree. But when you talk about youngsters, I mean, it's a massive squad, isn't it, that Treviso got?
March, I think you need to bounce, right? So,
Oh, sorry.
No.
So I was just I think my dog's looking worryingly at the front door, so I'm skeptical about him. So I mean, we haven't touched too much on Zibre, but I've got no idea about the Cheetahs anymore. I've got absolutely no idea what to expect. So I'd like to think they would be able to win that if they take it, they go for it. I think they should be able to. I'd like to think anyway, but it's a massive unknown. I don't know what to expect from the South African side. Benetton, I think their second string is still probably better than Ospreys. So if it is a case of seconds v seconds, then I'd still fancy Benetton. But I think the fact it's away maybe might change things a little bit. But I think there's a very good chance to.
Oh,
he's gone.
It's very good
Right on
chance
time.
for an upset, I think, is what he's going to
Really
say.
good chance.
But going back to Minozzi, here's a challenge for you, Mike.
Shoot.
How if Minozzi, because he couldn't get a game, was kindly dropped to go to Zebre, do you think he would displace any of the back three? That's Pani, Jesi, Trulla, Bruno. Any of those players?
Potentially Bruno.
Trulla.
Just because Bruno hasn't played. No. Trulla's like he's
No,
insane this
Trulla is
season.
playing.
Yeah, he's
Trulla
playing
is
so
playing.
well. No is the answer. That said, Minozzi at his best, and I'm thinking, I know he dropped it, but that possibly would have been the best Champions Cup try I think I've ever seen. But Wasps, I think it was against Montpellier. Don't quote me. Anyway, where he gets it from his own line, he kicks the over under, then he kicks the grub, he picks the ball back up, then there's one final kick where he goes over the fullback. So he makes 3 kicks from his half, catches all 3, and then drops the ball over the line. Yeah. Do you guys remember where I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, right. If he is at his absolute best, his attacking best, because defensively, I agree with you, Phantom. He's always been not 100%, right?
Oh, no, I saw him play against England, I think, and I think it was Brian Moore commentating, and he chased all the way back, or was against France, tackled a heavier bloke than him, got on his feet, and then ripped the ball off him and counterattacked. I remember that game. I think Brian Moore said something, wow, that's amazing for a very small bloke.
Yeah. I mean, that's it, right? If he's at his attacking best, he probably would displace. Yeah, he probably would displace a lot of players, but he's not. So we can't. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those.
I mean, right now, I'm afraid. I actually think his eye injury has really frightened him and has made him lose fear of contact. And when you're a small player like that, then I think that hurts. And remember, we're not talking about a physical injury. We're talking about an eye, which is very, 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 very frightening if you lose your eye. Yeah. And I think maybe he's just instinctively more cautious, which you could understand if that was the case. I mean, I would, right? If you had, I mean, he had a very serious possibility of losing an eye, you know?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm sort of resigned myself to that. Like, I just think he was just unplayable. I think it was 2017, 2018 season where he won.
First year also with Italy, with Bellini, Ioane Bellini, Minozzi, that trio playing. They did a couple of great action and attack, but Minozzi, as you said, is not that guy that we remember, but it's like a now or never situation for him. He has to take any chance he's gonna have this season, because
Yeah.
Marin is coming back too. He can be different. He can play a different position. Something
Fullback.
can change. Fullback.
I'd
12.
love to see him at fullback. I genuinely would love to see him at fullback. He has a monster boot. He can
Who's
catch. He
that?
can defend.
Sorry, who's that? Sorry,
Marin. After
Marin.
almost 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, ironically, theoretically, in this game against Ospreys, we could have a full Wasp trio at the back. And you think
Yeah.
about it, having Watson, Minozzi, and Odogwu would actually be Wasp's old back.
Fekitoa, Umaga. Let's just get them all on. Like, why not?
Just have Wasp Mark II.
Maybe they're gonna play against the Section Paloise, against Po, the number 9 Dobson that was there at,
Oh yeah.
so
He was a good player, Dobson, as well. I rate him.
you need just Josh Bassett there, and the team is there. Guys, wow, almost 1 hour. So let's go on Zebre, because Mr. Trulla, Jesse, and company. Let's talk about Montemauri, which is and Stabile, because the new phases we saw this last weekend. Montemauri,
I
thoughts,
like him.
impressions.
I like him. I think he's especially since Rizzi has now retired, by the sounds of it, or been made to retire. I think I like Montemauri. I was a little bit worried about all the games that I saw him play for Rovigo, all the highlights, all the video the video clips. I thought he looked very static and a good kick, but not much else. And then surprisingly, in the games in South Africa, I actually saw he took it to the line and took plays with him and offloaded. And I was like, okay, that's a surprise. I wasn't expecting that of him. He's obviously learning to play at the pace. As I said, the game against up in the mountains, up at 2,000 meters, I thought was they lost. Just like Connacht, they lost because they couldn't breathe. That's fine. 5 days is not good enough, not enough. I thought they played the next game against in Kapstadt against the Stormers. I thought they played very well, and I thought it had they taken their chances, and at this level you just need to take every single chance you've got like that. I think they could have pushed the Stormers to a game, but they had 3 chances, and at that level, if you only get 3 chances and you are clinging to the tailcoat, I think you need to take those chances. Had they taken them, would have been an interesting game, and a lot of it was his play. So I'm surprised, nicely surprised.
Yeah, I'm actually less surprised, because I saw a lot of that where he was, especially, I don't know if you managed to watch the Leicester game. I always reference that where he plays 12, just because Otto mentioned it once. Yeah, it was Italy's against Leicester Tigers. Otto mentioned it. I think it was last week, Otto, or the week before last, excuse me, where you were like, I'd like to see him at 12. He just fits that mold so well. If he,
you see when he attacks from the second, when he the pull, I don't know, Prisciantelli first
receiver,
10,
his second receiver, yeah,
second receiver. He always got that step and those meters.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you.
Did it. So that maybe is there that we want to see him now in some situation like move. It's a freak for me, because technically when you see him, the way he passed the ball, it's weird. It's not classic, traditional. I don't know what kind of position he got, but guys, if you watch him,
very high hands.
Yeah. So that's
he's odd, but I think Screep literally said what I was about to say. Like, his tactical vision, some players you watch and like you just see the cogs where they see the game a little bit slower. Sexton is one of those players. Dupont is definitely one of those players where it just seems like he's seeing the game slightly slower than, in a slower pace, like slowed down version. He's a little bit like that. It's almost like he's quite methodical about what he's going to do before he's about to do it. So he knows that, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to pump the pass straight away, and that's going to make him run. And he knows that there's going to be a gap. It's like he's already sort of worked out what he's going to do before he gets the ball, which I know sounds stupid because most rugby players should do that, but I feel like that's something that we generally lack in general in Italy, whereas he's got like this amazing rugby IQ which we've lacked.
He reminds me of a young Andrea Mercato.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mazi, and I was going to agree with you, but yeah, like both, yeah, like it's just
more on Mercato style, yeah.
But wasn't he under Mercato for a bit or not? I don't know.
No, because he was on with Rovigo. So
Rovigo. You're right. Yeah, but he very much reminds me of that. And in actual fact, when you think about it, when Padovani was playing 10 that's how Padovani played. Padovani only started running when Zebre put him at 15. And I remember he scored that amazing try, and I can't remember who it is, where he took the ball from his own line and he just accelerated. And based on that game, I think he was bought to go to France to Toulon. To Toulon, and then he had a bad or he got homesick or whatever it was, mentally wasn't in the right place. But prior to that, Padovani was actually a flight half, and and he was a kind of static flight half in that sense. I mean, Dominguez was a static flight half as well. Let's not forget, he was not a running.
Just because you guys were saying like a Sexton slowing pace of the game, Phantom loves Stuart Lancaster, so I'm gonna mention him. He always said about taking pictures, something that Johnny Sexton did really well, was taking picture of what was happening. And I think about a player like that, which is Dare, that try that he passed the ball last year. Take picture, boom, the ball is out, and he's a static 10. He's a 15, but he's a static 10.
Yeah, but I think what's happened in modern
Montemari
rugby
got more than that.
Yeah. But I think modern rugby now is no longer the number 10 that attacks the line, your Craig Gower, your Kerr, or whatever it is that attacks the line to try and create. Which is why I think Smith is a little bit strange in that way, and I don't think he's going to be. That's why I think Kumaga's better, is because nowadays, I mean, I did like the way Farrell's created that hybrid of league and union, where you're creating your center line, your center bit of rugby league, but you're creating it across the pitch, and then your 9 is calling, and the 10 basically shouting. He's not actually necessarily taking the ball, but a good 10 is a general that's shouting and telling people where to go, and he only calls the ball on the 5th tackle or the equivalent to 5th tackle in rugby league to then attack or kick the ball forward, etc. So he's basically scanning and shouting and telling people, directing people as a general where to go, and that's the modern rugby, because effectively even now your props can do a pass, so that the 10 doesn't have to be the massive skill set. Every player should have the ability to have that, and that's that. I think the way rugby's changed, in my opinion. But you might tell me if I'm talking rubbish. But
no. I agree with a lot of what you say, to be honest. The only thing I'll say is that I do still think that there is some space for instinctual play. I was watching Sam Prendergast, the young Leinster player. He, like, for someone who's so small, like he's got a bit of a running game on him, but he does do what you do. Like, he makes the decision as to who's going to go through based on, instinct, right? Which is what Sexton does. So they're lining him up to do that. But I think if we look specifically at Benetton, like, Albanos is definitely a running 10, right? Like, he's definitely a running 10. He's and Umaga to an extent as well. I think there is still space, but I concede that actually at test level, you're 100% right. Like, you are 100% right. As in, the very best teams will have a 10 who just makes a decision on where the ball is going to be passed at first or second receiver, depending on
and tells the scrum half no, because he sits back, and from his vantage point he's scanning, and he's basically communicating with his 9 that's saying, right, go there, go left, and then now I call it because you've smashed the line enough to create a scrummage. I can see two phases all along the line that were smashing something, and I'm going to be calling the ball at about there, usually in the 12-13 channel, and that's when you come in. And when we were talking about Montemauri being better in
Behind,
the center
let's say.
position, in actual fact, you can do that by still being 10. The 10 doesn't have to be the first receiver. The 10 can always be coming in as a freelance and just change. You know, if we just see the pitches as stripes, the 10 can decide where is that stripe or where's that corridor, that channel that's going to be where we're going to make the hole. And then you're not wasting energy on the 10 getting hurt or getting stuck in a ruck or whatever. He calls it only when he knows that that's the point to attack, and that's a real clever way of playing.
3-5 phases, because then after that it's really hard to score again. Those the stats say.
Yeah, I agree with that. And to just one final point as well, unless it's a Schmidt coach team, Fancy, in which case the 9 dictates where everything goes and the 10's just there for the journey.
Or you're for
Or
French.
something really French. If you're French.
Yeah. If you're French. But going back to the Zebra game again, I think Zebra are. I think this year's games that they lost and didn't get the 5 points in the first 2 games are more costly than they were last year when they didn't. Because this year they're that much better, and had they taken those games and got those extra 6 points over those 2 games, I think they would have been set. I think they are nearly there, though. As I said, I think John Sims, the beauty of having John Sims, they basically took pressure off Bergamaschi to concentrate purely on the maul and the scrum, allowed him to cover then the line out, and now they're one of the best line outs. I think Hodges has done a great job in defense, freeing up Aldo Birchall. And so the whole thing is coming together. And I just think they've just been a bit unlucky. I thought Stavili looks good. He could certainly be in Bill and Ted's most excellent adventure. And apart from that, and I thought Trulla, I've always thought he's a better 15 than a 14, but he seems to have learned now how to defend on the wing. That disastrous games he had under Crowley at international level, which kind of killed him, was because his defensive work was on the wing he was always slightly out of position.
Wasn't that?
And I think, yeah, and I think that hurt him in the way that it hurt Mori, because Mori was terrible in that wing position, and that killed his international career. And both of those players were taken a little bit out of position by put on the wing. But now he seems to have kind of learnt. Now, whether that's Hodges, you know, for all we know, Hodges may have gone, "Hey, mate, you're not doing it right. This is what you should be doing." And he's going, "Oh, right, okay, duh." And now he's doing it, and he wasn't doing it before because nobody had actually told him that actually on the wing, you can actually use the line as your extra defender. You got lots of speed. Yeah, you can give him I mean, I remember Sean Edwards giving for egg heads or rugby heads or whatever. He was talking that Saki was one of the only players at Wasps that knew how to use the touchline as a defender, and he had to teach the other players that actually it's fine to give them the outside, because if you're quick, you can push them to the outside and they'll touch the line and you've won. Right, and maybe Hodgson has actually just taught Trulla how to do that, and this is the first time. I don't know. Maybe.
What do you think, guys, against Cheetahs is going to be the game? Because I think the stadium is going to be filled more, and Cheetahs, it's maybe their first game, real game. I know 2 players from Cheetahs. One is the great Ruan Pinar, number 9, number 10. We saw him for years at Ulster. And the other one is Carl Wagner, the former Benetton player at lock. But then the team is not that good. So you think a victory can be the next thing for Zebra?
Yeah, I'm confident. Yes, I'm not even going to mess around and say, oh, you know, they're going to have to play well. I think that this is a game where they could play poorly and they could still win comfortably. But it would be good to see. Yeah, I'm knocking on wood.
Like a boccia.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, like Zebre are so well-rounded now. Like the back three are, mate, they're demolishing people. Jersey's strike rate is insane.
Young and
obviously-
brave, the three guys over there.
Is the game in Parma?
No, it's in
Yeah,
it's in
It's in
Amsterdam, right?
Parma.
Is it
guys.
in
No,
Parma?
no,
Oh,
it's in
okay, fine.
Parma. So
it's
that's
in
why
Italy.
home game against Cheetahs. It's not
Um,
bad.
Well,
But the one thing I will quickly say is what I want to see is consistency with who they're picking. I don't know what's happened to Bruno. I don't know if he's injured or whatnot, but Barney seems to be slotting in quite well as a second playmaker. He said to us that that's what he wanted to do, and obviously to try
Growing that part of the game.
yeah, like he's looking more like it seems like he's more confident trying to put players through.
I think
you know-
I think for fullback though, I mean that's I think what is almost Zebra's luxury, because you've got the option, right? Pani is basically, I think for me, the better all-rounded 15, and he's got his very, very, very long boot to
he's
hit
got a
50
monster
22s.
boot, hasn't he?
And so that's an advantage. And he's strong, but he's straight line.
And he's
Through-
tall, and
yeah,
he's
he's
good
tall.
in the air. Like he's just our best. Like I know I've said it before. I just think he's our best rounded. Like in terms of, if we look at Freddie Stewart as like an archetype as possibly the best fullback in the world, right? Or certainly he is in my eyes, right? I don't want to speak for you boys, but
That's great.
if we're looking at him, he dominates the air. He's 6'6". Okay, Piney's 6'4", but like he kicks better. So like if you starting to analyze between the two, Freddie Stewart played fly half up until he went to Leicester. So he has the experience of distributing if needs be. Like there's a lot of similarities that you can pull between the two. I just think Piney's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean that's the point.
Brave.
And the thing is, the other options are either Trulla, although I think Trulla is now going to be pigeonholed onto the wing, and the other option is Prisciantelli. And Prisciantelli from fullback does something different. He basically counterattacks and has got the kind of slalom ability, which Pani doesn't. So theoretically, in theory, touch wood, the coach can look at the opposition and say, well, actually, in this game, it's best to have a counter-attacker. In this place, it's better to have somebody who can kick back into the position and basically have the luxury to say, well, this game, they'll be better. This game, that he'll be better. In theory, but we'll see. I mean, against Cheetahs, to be honest with you, as I said, I wouldn't know. I haven't seen them. I don't know what standard they're in, etc. But Zebre hopefully should be in a mental place now where they can say, well, we can compete against anybody. If we can beat the Sharks, we should beat the Cheetahs at home. And part of that strong mental state, I think, does come from Richard Hodges, because he comes out of this what do you call the stud farm of Sean Edwards. He was coached by Sean Edwards how to be a coach, I believe, in the under-20s Wales. I think I read somewhere that he basically was mentored by Sean Edwards, so he's got that mental toughness with him, and I think he's brought that, and I think you can see it.
Northern Brawn, mate, is what it is. Northern Brawn.
Yeah.
Hit him.
Yeah. But I think Hodgson has definitely brought that mental strength, and I think that really helps. I think, and apart from the brain farts of not knowing when to take a scrum instead of a tap penalty, but
that hopefully is a lesson that is burnt in their mind, and they learn from that.
But it would be funny if Treviso didn't do it again afterwards. I mean, Zebre did it in the first game, and Treviso did it against who was they were playing last time? It was against Ospreys, right? Or Edinburgh. Against Edinburgh, they went and took the tap penalty instead of the kick, and then apparently Troncon said it was the right idea. What do you mean it was the right idea?
I feel sorry, because like, as much as as it came, the decision came from like a young player, right? That's the point where you want some of the slightly older heads, more experienced heads, to be like, well, listen, we just demolished them on 6 scrums, right? let's reset here and like give ourselves a good opportunity to get something more. But like I said, it's a lesson that needed to be learned. So hopefully it's done. And
Yeah,
know,
what
they grow
was
from that.
what was Sam Hidalgo's Klein's excuse for doing it against Edinburgh?
Yeah, that was I was sweating again. To
That's
be honest.
crazy.
Yeah, Sam Hidalgo Klein. I rated him when he was at Exeter. I watched him a lot.
Man,
that
a
season.
lot.
Yeah,
He was good at
he-
Exeter.
he was good.
really
He was
good.
very good. I don't
Exeter
understand
was
what's
good. He
happened.
was good. Well, let's see
Yeah,
what's
just
gonna happen
don't get it.
with him.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, 1 hour 10. I think
let's,
it's time to wrap it up
Yeah.
here. And I would like to thanks Phantom to join me and us in general on
been a
the
pleasure.
pod.
I
Yeah.
am honored. I am honored. I've gone up in the world now.
No. It's been an absolute pleasure. Before we do wrap up, there's a couple of questions I'm going to take the opportunity for Phantom to answer as our guest. Right.
Boom.
First of all, Phantom, who was your unsung hero for the Benetton game?
Okay, very simply, I think the travesty was Odogwu not getting the man of the match because he saved at least 3 or 4 tries in his defensive
Cool.
cover, right?
Cool.
Without it doesn't even bear thinking about. I mean, and he had the misfortune of being given 2 bad passes that could have scored.
Balls.
Yeah, he was unfortunate in attack as well. Cool. And for Zebra? Otto, you're thinking. I can see the cogs going in the background as well.
I have
it is difficult. I think obviously Stavile had a good game. That Stavile had a really, really good game. I thought who was a hooker? I don't think the line out was not that great.
3 error from the line out, 2
yeah.
from BG, 1 from Ribaldi, 77 and 75%.
When can we just get Ribaldi just to admit that he's a prop and be done with this? Done with the shenanigans. He's so big.
Those arms, man.
Mate,
Those arms
like,
you have to put the insurance on your.
I thought in fairness, Fusco had a good game. He was strong, aggressive, and did well at on the at 9.
Yeah.
And then JC had a good game. I think it was very difficult. I don't think there was a single player. Montemari again had a good game, but I don't think there was a single player that actually made a difference in either winning or losing. And I think Odogwu did do that at Treviso simply by his cover on other people's mistakes.
That's fair.
No, it was hard on Odogwu, yes, like the way he played the game. And for Zebre, I don't know, I have this. The man for me this year is Guido Volpi because he's the right man sometimes when you saw him.
Volpi.
Guido Volpi. He carry well. He's a good option on the when they throw the ball in the line out. I mean, he's doing what we were. Man, it's weird because he came from Doncaster Knights. He was playing better when he was in Wales, and then last year was nothing, and this year is blooming again. I remember before with Zebra.
Yeah, maybe he needed time to adjust, and maybe again with Zebre, a lot of players perhaps were unhappy after losing those games that they should have won. They lost a lot of faith, and then perhaps the defensive coaching that was not quite up to standard didn't help. The fact that they had a line out issue, and as I said, putting maybe Hodge and Sims. Releasing thing have made things that little bit better, that the confidence comes back and then they start to perform the way they're supposed to perform. I mean, it's those little things that put together make all the difference. I think Volpi ought to start wearing a black mask and call himself Zorro. I think that would
I thought Ozzy man.
but Odogwu I was going to say something about Paolo. I think he was. I thought he was superb. I think one thing that I think he does very well on the wing, which I'm not sure most people have picked up. He lets the person have the outside, knowing that he can catch him, and he's got the low center of gravity to bring him down, turn him over, and fight for the
Put
ball.
the hands
And
on.
yeah,
That
because
is so good
he's
for him.
small. He's small, and he says, "Yeah, you can have the outside because I'll catch you anyway." And in fact, very rarely does somebody go on the outside and he doesn't catch them. I mean, it's very rare that they don't catch them.
That
He's an animal. Like he's just a
that
genetic
big
freak.
booty works.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, waddling around. He's so good, man.
Where are you based, Mike? Roughly.
Sussex, East Sussex.
Oh, East Sussex, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So,
I'm up in
how about
Yorkshire.
you?
I'm in Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go. You probably hear a load of guys go, "Fucking hit him" all the time. Then, just
yeah.
a
Well,
northern-
actually, there's a rugby league and rugby union club right near. I take my dog walking, but yeah.
Yeah,
So,
which club? Which club? I played a bit of league back when.
so it's called the New Earswick All Blacks, which
Nice.
yeah, they actually had a legal case with the All Blacks over the name All Blacks.
Oh, really?
I believe it. Well, yeah, at some point. But there would also there's a union team. They're not quite, because it's a sports club, so they're not quite linked together. But not that I go and see them, but I never have time. So
are the Tykes doing all right up by you?
in Leeds, I don't know. I to be honest with you, I don't watch the English Premiership. Well, no, no, I don't watch I don't watch the Premiership or even the league really. The thing is, the URC takes up all the time, and then you have no time to do anything else.
That's fair. So you
have to watch Phantom. You have to watch Gloucester, so you can be really mad. Watch Gloucester this year, so you can be mad.
Mad? Why?
But, yeah, because I'm gonna send you a couple of big long audio message about Gloucester. If you want to be mad with a team with 15 international players in the field, Gloucester is your team to be mad.
Oh, you don't like butchering like load of good options and like giving away really cheap tries. Oh, you don't like that? Oh, well.
No, I don't like to put the Bristol Bears in a situation where they have 49 defenders.
I didn't want to message you
in a game.
I didn't want to message you. I genuinely didn't want to message you like about it. So I was like, it's like kicking a man when it's down when it's like that. It was a bad game.
Bad game, like the full season. But anyway,
honest, yeah, I was gonna say, to be honest with you, mate, like it's been a pretty poor season.
Mamma mia.
You'd have skills though, wouldn't you?
So Mike, are you more of a Zebra or a Treviso?
Honestly, I'm now more of a Zebra fan, and I mean that as in like I support what's best for Italian rugby, and Benetton are doing well, and Benetton winning's going to do well, so I'm always going to support Benetton. I'm always going to support Zebra, but Zebra need a little bit more love. So if last year I bought the Treviso away shirt, this year I'm going to buy the Zebra one. That's who I'm going to be supporting.
Yeah, I mean,
because we want them to do well.
I think Zebra are kind of like my. Well, I'd like to see them. I think Treviso are okay, and I'd like to see them do, because I'm very sad that they didn't achieve what they potentially could do, and I want to see them achieve what they can do now.
Oh, they will. Like, yeah, it's close. They're close, and that's the beauty of it, right? We've got two options. If we want to support our Italian, the one owned by the franchise, or the one who are owned by the very generous Benetton family, and.
Yeah,
for me,
I mean, I was grew up in Rome, so Rome has got loads of teams in there, but Capitolina, I went to see Capitolina a few times at the Flaminio, and I sat next to Nick Mallet in 2007 when watching a game in the autumn, and I asked him whether he could help us, and then he duly let me down. In the most awful way, because I don't think you can ever forgive putting Mauro Bergamasco at 9. I really don't. I think there is no
crazy
worse.
Things.
Yeah, there is no worse. And remember Troncon going. I remember the interview afterwards going, it's not because we want to experiment. It's out of necessity. When there was what's his face who played in the end on the wing for Zebre. at 9 who actually came on and played well, because I remember that ball that Bergamasco threw to Marcato, who got absolutely smashed in the ribs in the England game.
Bad season for Gloucester, bad season for Lazio, probably one of the worst season in my life. This is what Grip said, and I think is the right way to end up. Because if
Lazio
not,
also
we
have a
can
rugby
speak-
team. Lazio have a rugby
Yes.
team as well.
I play against them too many times.
They're owned by the same owner, by the way.
Yeah.
Mental,
SS
man.
Lazio.
Anyway,
This is police
gents,
sportiva.
I'm gonna be rude. I'm gonna love you and leave you. Thank you for everyone who's kept us company. And
Thank you for having
Subscribe,
me.
follow, and share. Thank you, Phantom. Thank you, everybody. You can listen us on Spotify, every platform, and on YouTube. You can text with us on Discord, Italian Rugby Forum, Rugby Cocciotto YouTube channel, Twitter, everywhere. Just look for Fratelli di Rugby.
Oh,
so,
by the
guys,
way, before we go, I'll say it now. Mike Lewis Liner will be called up for Italy for the Six Nations. 3 years ago, I said that Odol Gulam and Liner would play for Italy. I've got 2 of them right.
2 on 3.
2 on 3, non c'è 2 senza 3. He'll be
Non
called
c'è
up
due
this.
senza tre.
yeah, I'm still keeping an eye on Tizzano. That's the like,
Tizzano,
we're
man.
blessed, right, mate? We're blessed, but he's playing well, right? So cool.
Ciao.
Right.